Welcome back to Businesses Building Bridges. I'm Diane Campbell. I'm the owner of Boney Booties Beach Rentals and also Tree Trends, where we're big on smalls. And I have my co-host here today. Introduce yourself, Shara.
Oh, hello. I'm Shara Brodsky, and I am the owner of Sift and Sort, a downsizing and organizing company here in Flagler County.
I am so excited to have Tammy in the house.
Woo!
Tammy Napolitano is a rock star and owner and operator of Awesome Graphics and a few other hats she has going on right now. Say hello to our audience, Tammy.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Well, we're here today. You're here today because we want to talk about Awesome Graphics. I've worked with you, and we have done a lot of things together. We're also fairly good friends.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about Awesome Graphics, how it got started, first of all, and what you do there.
Sure. Yeah, it's been a really incredible journey. It's a woman-owned graphics company, sign shop, and we produce signage, indoor, outdoor. We do apparel, we do promotional products, trade show events, and our specialty is also installation. We're a 3M certified installation company, so that keeps us super busy, for sure.
Are you talking about signs that go way up, like you see on the highway signs, or are you talking about everything?
We do everything, but like we do a lot of road signs and building signs. We have done highway signs as well, but those are usually done through the state. But yeah, there's really nothing we haven't wrapped or put vinyl on. Even ski poles, big like chairlift poles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That brings me to, you're not just here in Florida. Tell us where you're operating Awesome Graphics.
Well, I'm a third-generation Vermonter. I was born and raised in Vermont and started my business there in 1994, and have a great staff that runs everything, runs all the operations. And I moved here to this amazing place in Flagler County in 2021 and started to grow the business here. And it's been great. Like, I've met so many cool people such as yourselves and have made a lot of friends and a lot of friends in business too. And there's just so many cool entrepreneurs and business owners that I've had the privilege to meet and work with you, Diane, and Shara. Can't wait to work with you more.
I know.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
So I hear that you also have a consulting business. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yes.
As if you don't have enough things to do.
I know. I'm my worst. Well, I started the consulting business because I've been in the sign industry for over 30 years. And in 2017, I faced a real pivotal point in the business where I was having my grandbaby being born into the world, and I wanted freedom, and I wanted the ability to work on the business and not be stuck day to day. And I was exhausted and burnt out. And I found this software that I really fell in love with that I implemented, and it took me a lot of hard work to do it, but I did it myself, and I got everything really organized and all my processes dialed and started training my staff that way. And it was such a game changer for my business that I really wanted to try to help other business owners, specifically in the sign print industry, to create like a work-life balance. And by helping them set up Sign Tracker or other types of CRMs, it does that. It helps them create processes, and it's been a really fun. I've met a lot of people and have been traveling all over the U.S. for the last 3 years, helping people, and it's been fun.
So on that, how do you help seasoned entrepreneurs with their businesses that are trying to find their pain points?
Well, so I do, again, my consulting business is really kind of industry specific, but what I'll do is start by finding out, if they have processes and kind of where a job goes from the minute it comes into their shop to the minute it leaves, and see if they don't, if we can create those processes and, figure out which employees are doing what and how they're being best utilized, and try to create like a cohesive flow, and then set up the software to exemplify that flow and do things like on the back end of the software to help their quoting become easier and faster by I do a lot of templates. It's kind of like coding, but it's very simple coding. So that's kind of what I do. And then I just basically answer questions. I have some people that do Zoom calls with me that we just go over anything from hiring or ads they need done or just questions that they have about the industry or what segments to get into, you name it. And we just, just from being in the business for so long and having so many connections, it's been fun. And it's been a really cool way to kind of give back and also, make money and do something that I love. So it's been a win-win.
So I think that the hardest part is the actual business owner themselves, because it's kind of like a dog trainer, It's like, it's not the dog, it's always the owner. That's usually the main source of the issues. So I feel like that's probably one of the biggest challenges, especially in that industry.
Sure.
Is trying to have that owner recognize that they are as well part of that problem. How do you normally address that, treading lightly with them?
Yeah, it can be challenging because especially I found most of all the clients that I've worked with have been just really ready, and they're seeking out either me or they're seeking out this software, and then the software company is referring me. So I feel like most of the people that I've worked with have already felt the pain points and know they're there. And so I'm just trying to show them a way out. And I'm trying to, and it's funny. One of the guys from Sign Tracker who gives me a ton of referrals just said to me, I feel like I'm your agent because he constantly is referring people to me. And he's like, your close rate is crazy. And it's like, I'm not even trying to close these people. I'm just showing them what I did in my business and how it's worked for me and that I can work in a different state and still manage my business, And so it's really real. And I'm not trying to close anybody. I'm just trying to say, listen, I can set this up to work for you. It works for me. So it's very personal. So I think that helps. Did I answer your question?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I have this burning question. Take us through a before and after. What does the business look like before they get to the point of pain? And what does it look like after you've been there and coached them and consulted them? What does it look like then?
That's a good question. So every business is really different, and it depends at what stage we're starting at. But for instance, there was one company that I went to recently that used folders for everything. And so every single job they had in-house, and they might have had about 125 jobs at one time, had a paper folder. And they would run the folder from person to person, and they would write on the folder what they were doing. They would print everything out, put everything in the folder. And so nobody, whenever someone had a question, they'd have to find this folder amidst all of these other folders. So they did an amazing job of running a really successful business for a really long time. But obviously, that's not the most optimized way of doing things. So when I got there, our goal was to get them to be paperless as much as they could. They were sick of printing everything out. So I set up this software. I trained their staff. I was there for 4 days, and we had a great time. And by the time I left, they were paperless.
Oh,
I
wow.
mean, except for a little bit for like installers, but even my installers have some printouts. But for the most part, those folders are gone now, and they're actually doing things. Everything is throughout this software. So that's really cool to see. That's when I feel like, okay, good. I'm glad we could get there,
It's interesting because in a sign shop, they're going through dimensions, materials, colors. What else? I mean, there's the cost of it.
Labor,
Oh, my
intensive
gosh.
installation, how it's being installed, permitting, surveying. I mean, you name it. There's so many facets.
Wow. So I see, and I know you have 3 locations. How are you running the business? How did you get to running the Vermont business? That's headquarters, right?
Yes.
For the most part. How did you get to the point of handing the keys over to somebody in Vermont to do what you do there while you're here floating on your little boat?
My little boat.
Your little 2 things, your umbrella drink.
Well, I have to say, my general manager, back in when I moved here, right shortly after I went through a divorce, and he really stepped up. And I have to say, I couldn't have done it without him in a sense, because he, I remember saying to him, do you have this right now? While I transition and I start growing down here and I make some changes and try to really safeguard our business. And he said, I've got you, and he really did. He put his head down and helped me tremendously. And so having somebody like that you can trust, that knows your vision and knows your heart and is willing to scale with you and change, because we've had to face certain things with his style of doing things that maybe weren't the same way I did things, and he's been super teachable and just been a great asset. And he started out like, it was funny. The way I hired him, I would not recommend, but this is how I hired him. I was so busy and it was so crazy all the time. And he kept coming in and dropping off his resume and checking back in with me. And I remember one day him walking in and I looked up from at my desk and I said, I can't remember your name. I can't remember what you wrote down, but you're hired. Just start, because I don't have time. And that was how I hired him. And I don't do that anymore. We have processes now, but that's what, and I'm very glad I did, because he's been a great asset. So he runs, he's the GM of my Vermont location, and I have great staff that's under him, and I do a lot of stuff with my staff. I just took them to my manager team to Foxwood Casino in Connecticut, and that was a lot of fun. So yeah, it's been good. And here it's just really me right now. I filter everything through Vermont, and I have installers here that I use that are 3M certified. And but I really have just been doing my own thing down here, growing it through different networking groups where I've met you lovely ladies.
Speaking of that, I'd like to hear more about the networking and how that's helped your business.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's helped in so many ways. Like there's so many great networking groups in this area. You guys belong to a different one, and I belong to BNI, and it helped me a lot because I didn't know anybody when I moved here at all. I was here, I had just gotten divorced, and I was like, okay. So I remembered I had my business had belonged to that organization in Vermont for quite a while, and I didn't used to go to it, but my ex-husband did, and so I decided I'm going to join it here, and I did, and I met wonderful people. I met you guys, and I just certainly, like, it has led to so many referrals and so many great people here that I've met and have done business with. So it's been a good move.
When you collaborate with other businesses to get a job done, whether it's in Vermont or Florida or wherever you're going next, what do you look for in terms of that collaboration?
Great questions. You guys have great questions. Integrity. And I look for somebody that is going to do good work and stand behind their work. If it's something that I'm subbing out to somebody or needing to partner with them, I really look for people that I can trust. So to me, if I can trust somebody and I know they have the same type of work ethic that I do, then I'm going to be willing to go the distance, with them. And I'm super loyal. Like, even the vendors I've had for 25 to 30 years. I've worked with these people because, you just build relationships. And for me, it's all about relationships. And when you build, those things with people that you trust and that you become friends with, it's, that's kind of what I look for. And Diane, that's kind of why, you and I have used each other back and forth, because we get such a kick out of just talking business, and struck up that friendship, because of our mutual friend, Laura, who brought us together on a fun trip, so. If I may, I'm going to go off on my business here. And so Boney Booties is a beach chair company, and I want it to keep on brand. So I want the colors to be the same. I want the pirate theme to be the same. And Tammy has instinctively, probably because you've been in this industry for so long, you instinctively know what I'm asking without even asking it. So, if I'm saying I want a sticker, you're asking me questions that I didn't even think of. Do you want to make sure that your website is on there, and your phone number, and your colors, and the icon, the logo that makes Boney Booties look like its company. And so you have produced business cards, stickers, banners for parades, all these things that you don't even know you need until you need it. Right? Yeah.
So you've been in this world, and I'm so grateful to have that person you have my files, you have the SVGs or the PDFs or whatever you need to take my images and the colors and put them on whatever XYZ product that we come up with next. So I'm very grateful for that. And I think every business needs to have that in their back pocket so they're not creating and recreating different looks. And here's the question. What is the importance of continuity in your branding and from a graphic standpoint?
Yeah, I think it's super important. I mean, you want people, brand recognition is huge, and you want people to always know and spot you by your colors, by, the look that you have. I'm not a big fan of logos constantly changing. I mean, you can freshen them up, you can do certain things, but you definitely want an image that people can recognize and trust, and once they see that image and trust the image, if everything just changes all the time, you have to start doing that whole rebrand, So, I think it's really important. And we've worked with a lot of companies that have, huge brand books, not that we've created, but as printers, we have to be really cautious to not change anything. Like if we're doing design for them, we have to make sure their fonts are all the same, their colors are all the same, the distance between their tagline and their logo stays the same. There's a lot of real disciplines there, that we don't always apply to everything, but it's taught me and my team to really look for those things and think that way when we go to tackle something like a design.
I mean, branding is what it is, right? We all know, KFC and McDonald's.
Right.
How long have those been in business? And you don't even need it to say McDonald's. You just see that arch and you're in. And any country in the world. So, I mean, that alone is, I think, key to when it comes to branding.
Sure.
If you had to tell a small business owner who's just getting started, I have Widget World, LLC. What would you tell them in terms of select this color, don't use this font, don't use, don't do this and don't do that because you might confuse your audience? What would that be? What would that look like?
Well, so we're not like a marketing agency in the sense of coming up with brand identity. We'll do logo creation for somebody, but in my world, it's more like either utilizing the logo that you have to make it super legible. So if we're doing signage, obviously you're going to want your signage to be very legible, or why have a sign? You want people to recognize you, spot you, even on vehicles. Like you can see all these crazy wraps that are fun, but you want kind of to find that balance between a vehicle that is fun and is going to get eyeballs, but then you want those eyeballs to see something that they can retain and take home with them.
Is it the KISS method? Keep it simple?
I think so. I think the more simple you can keep it, the better off you are. But it's hard. It's harder to keep things simple sometimes.
It definitely is harder.
Yeah.
Especially when it comes to emails.
Right.
Email addresses, if you got too many I's, too many L's, too many words. I mean, that's something that people don't really think about. Yeah. Which is, I think, is extremely, extremely important.
Yeah, I do too. Absolutely. And website addresses too, keeping them short and sweet.
Colors to avoid?
I've read a lot of different things about color theory and about how you can choose color based on industry and people's buying patterns. I mean, there's a lot of study that goes into it. Again, not my expertise, but I think that I think you can use colors that are, visually appealing and visible. Like that's the biggest thing. So if you're going to translate it to anything that you're printing, you just want that clarity to be there. So I wouldn't go with super light colors unless you can make those light colors really stand out in their own way when applying it to signage or to vehicle or clothing or whatever you're doing with it.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
So there's another question we want to know is, how do you stay inspired in what you're doing?
Is that a guy?
Okay, wait a minute.
Going? Like you said, you've been in this business for decades, and
keeps me going.
What keeps you going? I mean, I know, the innovative ideas that come through and working with different people, but what is it about you and what you do that keeps you just getting up every day and making it happen to the best of your ability?
Well, that's again, good question. I don't know. I am super driven. I always have been. I love work and I love the industry that I'm in, probably because I've been in it so long and it's become very comfortable to me. And, I had somebody ask me once, what is it like being in a primarily male dominated field? And I was like, Just never thought about it. Like, I don't think that way. I just am like, this is what I do, and I try to help people solve problems, you know? So I never even considered that. But as far as inspiration goes, you know, I feel like I want to leave this business in the areas that I set it up in. So like in Vermont, you know, it's very well known in Vermont. It's very well known in the area that I live in. It's serviced a ton of businesses there. It employs over 14 people with their families. And so I guess a lot of that is my inspiration, like really wanting everybody to have a job that they love, that they can be proud of, that they can earn good money from, you know? And so my goal has always been like, let's grow this thing so that I can make a good living, you guys can make a good living, and you can do something that you really enjoy. So I guess part of it is legacy, I guess, that would keep me inspired, you know, leaving a legacy for my staff and then also for my children, whether it's, you know, they're not interested in taking over the business because they all have their own businesses. But, you know, still leaving a legacy to them in some way or another.
Since we are a podcast about bridges, Tammy, what sort of bridge do you see yourself being from you to your collaborating with other businesses or other people? What kind of bridge do you see that?
I think that my bridge would be support. Like, even if it's just brainstorming support or being a voice of encouragement to people that want to quit because they're so overwhelmed they can't take it. I feel like 30 years with no, or over 30 years with no real education in this industry at all or in business, I had to learn things the hard way. And I had to learn things every step of the way. So I've learned a lot, you know, because I've had to. And I know what it feels like to want to quit 100 times and then to get back up and not, you know. So I guess that's the bridge I would like to be, is just to be like a cheerful, positive yes person that can stand in your corner. I had one gentleman in my consulting that his health was really poor, and he owned a sign shop in Long Island. And I helped him to get more organized. And as the years went on, we stayed in touch, and he would call me probably once a month. And he finally, you know, was having so many health issues and was so stressed out. And I just said, you know, maybe it's time to just let it go and sell and just make your exit and just enjoy some time and get your health back, you know? And it took a little talking and going over it, and he did. And he's super happy. And he got a job in the same industry, but he has none of the stress, none of the pressure, sold his business and is making great money. So it's like, if I can do any of that and just help somebody that way, that's exciting to me, you know, and that's the bridge I'd want to build.
That is how I see you always. I mean, what you described as your bridge is how exactly
nice.
how I see you. Supportive.
Okay.
You know, because we've had 3-4 hour drives together.
Yes.
And where we've talked about supporting each other and having each other's back. And, you know, that's a stupid idea. Or why would you do that? So
we're buying domains that we don't maybe end up using, but
well, you do that too?
You and I, but we have a few.
I think I collect more domains than shoes.
I have a lot of domains.
Yes. But we're so grateful you're here, Tammy, and that you've spent time with us. And tell our listeners how they can get in touch with you.
Okay, so my email for Awesome Graphics is just my name, Tammy, Tami, at awesomegraphics.com. My website is awesomegraphics.com. And if you need anything, you can email me there anytime. And my other business is Freedom Solutions, and it's Tammy at freedomsolutions.me, and that website is freedomsolutions.me. So if anybody needs anything, or you just want to talk business, I love talking business.
Oh,
so even if you want to do that, just give me a call.
Well, we appreciate your time today.
Thank you guys so much. Thanks for having me. This was a lot of fun.
Awesome. What a great episode.
Yes. Thanks for being with us here today, and we'll see you next time on B3.